What's going on, world? DS1 Ross, and we back here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Shout out to everyone who support the platform. Much love, much love, much love. If you are in the building right now, please drop a one in the chat. Let me know if y'all can hear me clearly out there. Please drop a one in the chat and let me know if y'all can hear me clearly. Let me know if y'all can hear me clearly. Let me know if y'all can hear me clearly out there, fam. Okay, I see some ones. I see some ones. Okay, okay, okay. Shout out to everyone that's in the building. Shout out to everyone that's in the building. Salute to y'all. Salute to y'all. Man, and of course, we are back right here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. I'm y'all host, DS1 Ross. Of course, I appreciate all the love and the support. Salute to everyone that's in the building. Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to y'all. Happy Sunday to everyone. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. Of course, we got a 3-day weekend, so shout out to everyone. We're gonna get into it today. We're gonna get into it today. This is episode 2. This is episode 2. I know y'all probably was wondering, like, man, what's going on, Sheep? I thought you was gonna talk. I thought you was gonna talk about marriage. I thought you was gonna talk about marriage. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it today. We're gonna talk about it today. So make sure if you're in the building, and you're looking forward to a great show, hit the like button, y'all. Hit the like button. Hit the like button on the way in. Hit the like button. If you are in the vertical feed, if you're in the vertical feed, double tap y'all screens and hit that like button, y'all. Also, share the show. Share the show. Share it on y'all Facebooks, y'all community tabs, y'all Discord servers, anywhere that y'all share content, share this show. Because we're gonna get into it today. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it, and we will be double streaming. So make sure y'all get back here at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure y'all get back here because we're gonna get back into it. We're gonna get back into it. All right. So shout out to y'all. Let me see who's in the building. Let me see who's in the building, and then we gonna get into it. All right. So make sure y'all donate a like and a share before we get into the show. Donate a like and a share. Let's see who's in the building. Let's see who's in the building. Let's see who's in the building this morning, and we're gonna get into it. Shout out to Miss New York Nikki in the building. Hey, New York Nikki. Shout out to you. Happy Sunday. One of my lovely lady mods in here today. Thank you so much for always coming through and holding it down and decorating the Chizat. Shout out to Miss New York Nikki, baby. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. So we 1 for 1 thus far on the lovely lady mods. Shout out to Miss Naomi in the building. Good morning. Good morning, Naomi. How you doing? Shout out to my man Astral in the building. What's good, Astral? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to my man Astral in the building. Shout out to the cynical one in the building. Hey, Sin, happy Sunday. We got 2 lovely lady mods in here today. Hey, Sin, how you doing? What's going on with you? What's going on? What up, Leo Puma? What's going on, fam? Shout out to my man UFO. What's good, UFO? What's good, fam? Shout out to my brother, Mr. Sutton, in the building. Salute, salute, salute. Shout out to my brother on the check-in. Salute, comrade. Salute. Happy Sunday, man. Shout out to my man T Church in the building. What up, T Church? What's good, my brother? Salute to you, man. Shout out to Cuzzo want to pull up. Shout out to Junior Mafia in the building. Salute, 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 family. Salute. Shout out to my man Third in the building. What up, Third? Salute, my brother. What's going on? What's going on, man? We're going to get into it today. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. See who else is in the building before we get into it. Man, shout out to everyone on the pull up. Shout out to everyone on the pull up. We're going to get into it today. Like I said, make sure y'all like and share the show. Make sure y'all like and share the show. Yeah, we're going to get into it today, son. Like and share the show, y'all. Y'all know how we do. Y'all know how we do. This is episode 2 of the Marriage Idolatry series. The Marriage Idolatry series. And let me just give y'all a little background if y'all are new here, right? Shout out to all the new supporters if you're new here, right? The reason why I decided to do this series is because I noticed that a lot of people on social media for the past couple of years, I'm going to say for at least the past 5 years, a lot of people has really been going hard on marriage, banging hard on marriage, um, speaking negatively about marriage, saying that marriage doesn't work, just speaking down on marriage, right? And also, I saw people also on social media, right, throwing marriage in people's face or weaponizing marriage. So these two aspects is what made me want to talk about this. Because on one side, you had people weaponizing marriage in the conversation, right? Saying that you're not this and you're not that if you're not married. You can't talk about this or talk about that if you're not married. So you had that part of the conversation. And then the other part of the conversation, you had people saying, well, it don't make no sense to get married. Marriage is played out. Marriage is an old concept. Marriage is for traditional people. It's not for the modern day people. So I said, you know what? We need to speak about this from a perspective that nobody's speaking from it. Because the reason why you, or let me say not you, but we have heard these perspectives on marriage is because the people who were speaking on marriage didn't realize that they were idolizing marriage. You see, this is why this series is called Marriage Idolatry. These are people who have made an idol out of marriage. And let me start off the show by saying, I myself have made an idol out of marriage. I've done this myself. Now, I've never been married, but the way I've viewed marriage, right? And what I originally thought that marriage is supposed to be and what marriage is actually supposed to cover, I found out I was wrong. I found out that I was making marriage into an idol. I was thinking that marriage was something that it wasn't. You see? I thought that marriage was going to stop the generational curses in my family. I thought that if I get married, it would break a lot of curses. This is what I thought. I thought once I get married, I'll be safe. I'll be spiritually safe. This is what I thought. See, even I made an idol out of marriage. You see? And I think a lot of us have. And the reason why I say this is because I listen to what people say on these shows. I listen to what these people say on these panels. And I know what I've said and I know what I've thought. Marriage is not whatever we talk about and what we think it is. And I'm speaking about myself as well. Because see, a lot of times the reason why people end up hurt in marriages, right? And they end up despising marriage is because they made their marriage into an idol. You see? They've made their marriage into an idol in their life. This is why you hear, oh, grandma felt like she was stuck. She felt like she couldn't go nowhere. She stayed together for the family and all of this stuff. This is where you get all of this stuff from, because these are people who've made marriage into an idol. Because see, back in the day, right, what our grandparents and great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents, see, back in those times, marriage was a status symbol. See, y'all got to understand how deep this stuff goes. And shout out to everyone in the building. Make sure y'all hit the like button on the way in. See, y'all don't understand why grandma, great grandma, and them didn't leave. See, we're going to talk about that today. See, they didn't leave because it was a status symbol. It was a label, a good label to have. See? In society. See, back in great grandma time, it wasn't cool to be a single. And see, all that single independent stuff, that stuff came later on. That came later on with your mama and your aunties and them. See, it wasn't cool back then to be no single woman running around sleeping with men. That was not cool. You were not accepted socially. That's why grandma made sure she found her a husband. That's why you found out later on they didn't really love each other, because marriage was an idol. It was a status symbol. It was a status symbol for women. And back then, it was something that men bragged about. Yeah, we're going to talk about it today. We're going to go there this morning. See, it was a status symbol for women. It was a sign of safety, security. And it was a bragging right for men. Yeah, I got my wife at home. Yeah, my house clean. And she gonna be there and be ready to do whatever I tell her when I get there. It was a bragging right for men. See why grandma felt like she was being abused? See why grandma didn't like what was going on? See why grandma had to accept certain stuff? Great grandma just accepted certain things. You know, all that stuff y'all be saying on the internet now. See, we gonna break down why that was going on. See, you don't know why, and you don't care to know why, because you just repeating what you was taught to repeat. Because all that stuff y'all yapping about, right, that was passed down throughout the generations, which is why now a lot of y'all are single and independent. See, that's what it transitioned into. I could do bad by myself. That's what it transitioned to. See, you ain't saying nothing slick. You only repeating what they taught you to repeat, because it was passed down through generations. You see? What up, Truth? What's going on? Salute. JR Meadows in the building. Salute, JR. Hey, Ms. L'Oreal. Shout out to Ms. L'Oreal in the building. We got a top lovely lady mod in here this morning. Shout out to you, Ms. L'Oreal. Good to see you. See? It was a flex for men, right? And it felt like a burden for women. Because, again, it was a social status. It wasn't cool to be single. See, now it's cool to be single. It wasn't cool back then with your great grandparents. Wasn't cool. See, back then, if you were one of those type of women, you were either considered a rebel or you were outcasted from your family. You see? Did you send one just now, Ms. L'Oreal? Or you talking about the other day? Either way, thank you. I appreciate it. Shout out to Ms. L'Oreal. You talking about now? Or you talking about the other day? You're probably talking about from the other day, because I don't see nothing right now, Ms. L'Oreal. But we're gonna continue, right? So this is what y'all gotta understand. Y'all are saying what y'all are saying about marriage because y'all don't even understand what took place back then. Y'all don't even understand what was going on in society because y'all don't even care to know, right? Yes. Thank you so much, Ms. L'Oreal. I appreciate you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Right? So now, today, right, what we have is we have people who don't even understand, right, how marriage is supposed to operate. See, now marriage has become a goal. See, whenever you make marriage a goal, you're making marriage an idol. Whenever you make marriage an accomplishment, you're making marriage an idol. See, this is what I was thinking. This is what I was thinking. Not knowing that you making marriage an idol. You're making marriage as this accomplishment, as this thing that you can say you've done in your life. Marriage is much more deeper than that. Marriage is much more meaningful than that. Marriage is not your goddamn college degree that you can hang up on a wall. That's not what marriage is. Marriage is not a certificate. You know, when you finish HVAC training, you got a certificate and you hung it up in your office room. A lot of people treat marriage like that. I was one of them who thought about marriage in that way. Like it was some accomplishment. Like this is something I have to do while I'm alive here on earth. And what I realized was I said, hold on, slow down, DS1. You looking at this all wrong. Marriage is not no accomplishment. Marriage is a covenant. It's not an accomplishment. It's not a goal. It's not something you check off a bucket list. You know, a lot of us live this way. See, we're going to talk this morning. A lot of us live this way. We think marriage is something we're going to scratch off the to-do list. You know, like getting a BMW. Marriage is on that to-do list in life. You know, like get a big house. Marriage is on that list. You know, like to make 6 figures in the next couple of years. Marriage is on that same list. Yeah. Yeah, you want to get a new pickup truck. Marriage is on that same list. You see where we're going wrong at? Marriage is on that same list. You want a new tool set. Marriage is on that list. Put a 1 in the chat if I'm being real. It's on your bucket list. Like you want to go to Dubai and ride a camel. You want to get married. You want to get married. You want to go to the Maldives and go swim under in the water in the caves. You want to go to Tulum just like you want to get married. You want to go to Punta Cana just like you want to get married. See what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about? This is what we doing. We're idolizing marriage. We idolizing marriage. And then wondering why when we get into them, they not working. Wondering why it's taking you so long to get there. You idolizing marriage. And then you got people who idolize marriage because they were born into an idolized marriage. See, you got a lot of those people too, who were born into an idolized marriage. That's where you hear, oh, my parents stayed together for the best interests of me and my little brothers. That's where you hear that at. See, that's a couple who idolize marriage, right? And what they did was they try to keep things together to hide that they messed up. See, we're going to tell the truth this morning. See, we're going to stop lying and saying, oh, they stayed together for the best interests of the family. No, they didn't. No, they did not. Because that's why the children are still messed up. And these children don't realize they messed up until they become grown and realize why they can't be in relationships. See, the reason why they stayed together, they didn't stay together for you and your brother. They stayed together because they were ashamed that they didn't do it right. And instead of them coming out and saying we ain't do it right, and try to reconcile and do it the correct way because they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to tell the truth because of their ego, right? Because of their false sense of identity. They don't want none of that to be exposed, so they stay together and say, we did it for the kids. Absolutely, Miss L'Oreal, living a lie. They don't stay together for no kids. That's a lie. They stayed unhappy for the kids. That's a lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. They stay together because they don't want to have to deal with the public shame and embarrassment of walking around together for 30, 40 plus goddamn years lying. That's why they stay together. Because they don't want to have to tell them people that was at that goddamn marriage ceremony that we ain't love each other. See, they don't want that to come out. So they lie and say, oh, we did it for the kids. But then the kids end up messed up. But then it's so hard for the kids to get along in relationships. And then the parents act like the kids didn't see that. They try to act like the children didn't pick up on that broken marriage. You see that? Those are people who are spiritually divorced, but physically still together. A broken marriage. See, they try to act like the children don't pick up on that, but they do. And these children grow up into adults and they come on the internet and spew the venom that they spew about marriage. Because these are children that grew up into adults that don't know how to get along in relationships. They don't know how it is to be in a functional relationship. They don't know how to effectively communicate. And where did they learn this from? They learned this from their parents and their broken marriage. That they lie and tell the world they stayed together for the kids. But all the kids learned from y'all was how to not get married and how to destroy all the relationships that they're in life. That's what they learned. And guess what? They come on the internet and use the internet as their speaker to express their pain and trauma. This is why they're saying what they're saying about marriage. Because they've lived under a married couple who was their parents, who they watched marriage idolatry. They've literally grew up idolizing marriage because of their parents. Because of their parents. See? This is why divorce is such high on the menu. This is why. You know how many more divorces it would be? You know how many more divorces it should be? Because all they're doing is idolizing marriage, AKA playing with the covenant of God. And then wondering why they don't feel covered. You know how many women are in marriages that don't feel covered? And they try to blame their husband. And you trying to blame your husband. It ain't your husband's fault. You don't feel covered. It's that spirit that's operating through you that's having you idolize your marriage. That's why you never feel safe. You never feel safe because you're fake. You ain't being real. This marriage ain't real to you. You idolize marriage. That's why you don't feel safe. That's why you don't feel covered. That's why you don't feel protected. That's why you don't feel heard. That's why you don't feel tended to. Because you've been faking like you've been submissive. Ooh. You've been faking like you've been serving. You've been faking. That's why you don't feel safe. That's why you ain't comfortable. Because you know you lying. So you don't want to find out that he lying too. You don't want to find out that he faking just as much as you. You don't want to find out that he idolized marriage just as much as you. You don't want that. Yeah. And when you do, you know what you and your husband come together and say? We gonna keep this lie going for the children. We gonna keep this lie going for the children. Because see, y'all don't even understand the things that make a marriage. See, today, the conversation is focused on what breaks marriages. See, y'all gotta pay attention. Y'all gotta pay attention to the content and how it's being disseminated to you. You gotta understand context, okay? In what context is this content being delivered? See, they only speak about what breaks marriages, why marriages are broken, why people don't want to get married. That's the zenith of the conversation. Nobody's talking about what makes a marriage. See, we just talked about what breaks the marriage. Because all the things that breaks the marriage, guess what it all leads back to? Y'all idolizing marriage. See, some of y'all think that marriage is a transaction. I do this so I get this. You think marriage is a transaction. See, you've idolized marriage. You idolize marriage. You think marriage is a transaction. You think because you cook, he's supposed to buy you a Chanel bag. That's the exchange. He wants food every day, and I want shoes and bags. A transaction. You have idolized marriage. You have idolized marriage. You have idolized your marriage. You have turned your marriage into an idol. You think marriage is a transaction. That's most people today. I do all this stuff for him. Why he can't give me what I want? I pay all the bills. Why I can't bring another chick home? Marriage idolatry. Y'all don't even understand the basis of marriage. What makes a marriage? What you're supposed to be as a husband, what you're supposed to be as a wife, your duty to one another. See, when you're dealing with duties and responsibilities, right? And you're dealing with accountability, right? There's no transaction in that. You see where we're going? You see where we're going? See, when you're dealing with responsibility, accountability, see, when you're dealing with things of that nature, transaction don't coincide with those things. So if your marriage lack accountability, right? 9 times out of 10, you're dealing with a transactional relationship, which is not a marriage. See, there's things that men and women are commanded to do by God. See, this is why marriage is not transactional. We're commanded to do this. It's not a choice. Let me say that again. We're commanded to do these things. It's not a choice. See that? See, a man is commanded to love his wife. He's commanded to do this. He doesn't have a choice. He doesn't have a choice. See, when you're dealing with choices, you're dealing with transactions. You don't have no choice to love your wife. You're commanded to do that. You're commanded to do it. Husbands are commanded to love their wives. Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. This is a command, men, not a choice. A command. It's a command, meaning this is what you must do. Not an if. You're commanded to do this. And this biblical love is protecting, providing, leading with humility, being faithful, showing patience and kindness. This is the love we're commanded to show our wives. See, I hear a lot of men today talking about what they're going to choose to do in a marriage. No, there's no choice here, sir. It's commanded by God for you to do what you do. You don't have no choice, bro. See, if you want a choice, you stay single because you still want to choose. You still want to pick and choose, brother. You still want to pick and choose what you gonna do because that suits how you feel. And it's pleasing to our ego as men. So you're gonna pick and choose. See, that's not biblical. And if it's not biblical, it's not marriage. See, we're gonna go ahead and get that out the way too. See, if it's not biblical, it's not marriage. It's not marriage. It's a relationship. It's boyfriend and girlfriend. It's a relationship. See that? See, we're going to go ahead and get that on out the way too. So if you still talk about you picking and choosing on what you going to do, then that's boyfriend talk. That's boyfriend talk. You still want to be somebody's boyfriend. You ain't trying to be no husband. See that? See, ladies, you already know, you should know what type of man you dealing with by the way a man is. See, a man who understands that it's his job to be patient with you, to be kind to you, to lead you, right? To protect you, to die for you. That's a husband. See, y'all like to run around and play the date game and play the matching game. See, I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all ladies something too. See, if you want to live your life like you want to pop the balloon show, guess what you are? You somebody's girlfriend. See, if you still want to run around and speed date and date and play, you a girlfriend. You ain't nobody wife. See, that's not the process of becoming a wife. Going on dates, going on trips, going out, playing. See, that's worldly dating. That's not according to scripture. So you got to go on 50 dates with 20 different dudes to decipher whether which one could be a husband. That don't make sense. You're playing a game. That's a game. Well, I'm going to just try the next one in my phone. See, you don't know husband traits. You don't know husband qualities. See, you think the trait of a husband is somebody who could give you what you want when you want it. You think that's a husband trait. That's not biblical. Providing provision does not mean when you want it, you get it. That's childish. That's not the mentality of a woman. That's not becoming of a wife. Oh, since we got it, we should just spend it and get it because I want it. That's childish. That's a child. See, and if you view a man in this way, you are looking for a boyfriend. See that? What Beanie Man said? She wants a toy friend for a boyfriend, yeah. She wants a toy friend for a boyfriend. All you got to do is drop the B and add a T. She wants a toy friend as a boyfriend. Somebody she can play with. Go out, play with. Boyfriend. She ain't ready for no husband because she ain't ready to be no wife. See, it's cool to talk that marriage talk until you run into a man that has those husband qualities. That's not going to play no games with you. That's going to see if you really about that marriage life. See, but you know what y'all like to do? Y'all like to come on the internet and let the internet cloud your judgment so you could run away and escape and say, oh no, he wasn't the one. No, you were scared. See, a lot of y'all women won't come out and say this. See, you won't get on the internet and say you were scared. You know what y'all come out on the internet and say? That the men are not ready. The men are not ready. The men are not prepared. No. Talk about how you ran from that man who had all them qualities, who was patient with you, who loved you with humility, right? Who provided for you, protected you, did all those things the Bible commands husbands to do. He already showed you he had those qualities and told you he was looking for a wife. And you got cold feet. See, these women not going to get up here and say that. They're going to get up here and say, oh, he ain't have enough money. They're going to find something to disqualify him. But notice all the things that they say to try to disqualify that man, right? None of it is biblical. You notice that? You notice that? See, because the Bible tells you what makes you a husband and what makes you not a husband. The Bible tells you what makes you a wife and what doesn't make you a wife. See? See that? See? It's complete. It tells you these traits make you a husband. These doesn't. These behaviors, these doesn't. These traits as a woman make you a wife. These traits doesn't make you a wife. It's in the book. So notice the things that they try to use to disqualify the men. Oh, I ain't marry him because of this. None of it is biblical. It's never biblical. It's always worldly because they've made marriage into an idol. And if you have made marriage into an idol, you're not a husband nor a wife. Oh, you got some work to do. But how many of us will get up here and admit that we got work to do? Instead of just getting up here, putting other people down, putting the other gender down. How about you say, no, I got work to do. So I ain't really got time to be talking about what men are not. I don't have time. See, a lot of you women, if you adopted this mindset, maybe you'll get somewhere. Instead of you going out your way to talk about what men aren't and still say you want a husband, right? Why don't you focus on becoming the woman, right, that you will want to be to a husband? How about you focus on that? How about you men focus on becoming the man you will want to be to your wife instead of talking about these women ain't ready to be wives? Why don't we do that? Why don't we start going through the process instead of putting each other down? Because how you put the opposite sex down, but then you want to marry the opposite sex? Do you know a lot of you women are disqualifying yourselves simply because of your digital footprint? See, y'all got to be careful. And I'm talking to the men too. Y'all got to be careful. See, I spoke about this on The Secret Life of Sin. Make sure y'all check that stream out. The Secret Life of Sin. I spoke about this. See, y'all out here wanting to date people, forgetting that people could look y'all up. Now, you've been dating this dude. You like this dude. This dude like you. Right? He don't know nothing about your social media life. Now, let's say you stop being on the internet maybe 5 years ago or whatever, and you met this guy. All of a sudden, he's scrolling through YouTube. He finds one of your videos where you just trashing men. How are you going to explain to that man, or how are you going to convince him that you don't feel that way about him? See, y'all got to be careful. Men too, especially men. Because see, a lot of you dudes, y'all scour the internet for women, and women do it too. Women do the same thing. So all of this red pill, black pill, player, all of this game, all this shit y'all like to talk about on the internet, be careful. Because it might be 10 years from now. You might be married and everything, and your wife come to you and say, hey, babe, what's this? I know this was a long time ago, but do you still think like this? See what I'm talking about? On here all day talking about the patriarchy. But the way God hierarchy is set up, it is set up based on a patriarchy. So what are you talking about? The head of the woman is the man. So why you keep talking about patriarchy? Why are you talking about patriarchy when you want to exist within the patriarchy because you want to get married? You want to be a married woman, but you talking about patriarchy. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? See, what you're doing is you ruining your chances of being a kept woman because of your mouth. That's in the Bible. Can one of y'all please find that scripture? That's biblical. Your mouth. Your mouth. What come out your mouth? Woman. And the way it come out your mouth. You sitting here talking all this blasphemy. Do you want a man to come and marry you? And live under the tenets of God in the Bible? When he hear you speak against the patriarchy, when you speak against the patriarchy, you speaking against headship. You speaking against husbands. You speaking against marriage. What are you talking about? But then you want to be married. Who gonna keep that? What man want to keep that on his hands? A walking contradiction, a liar, a hypocrite. What man want to keep that? That's not marriage. You're idolizing marriage. You want a man to take you on with that mindset. His leadership is supposed to supersede that mindset. You don't even have the mindset to be led. Did you know that? You don't even have the mindset to be led because you can't lead a rebel. You can't lead a rebel. You can't lead a hardhead. You can't lead an asshole. You can't lead a renegade. You can't lead them. You got to let them crash into the wall. Know it all. See all the know-it-alls? You let them crash into the wall. Yeah, that's what you do. Let them crash. That's what you do. Can't lead you. You can't lead a know-it-all. You can't lead a rebel. You can't lead someone who is purposely defiant. You can't lead nobody like that. See? Because they don't understand the things that make a marriage. That's why they only know how to do things to break it, or they never get married. Because they're not focused on developing what makes that. I want to become that. So what do I have to do? See, they ain't focused on that part. They focusing on what it's not going to be. And when you focus on what it's not going to be, it's never going to be. Let me say that again, because I think that went over some of y'all heads. Whenever you keep focusing on what it's not going to be or what it isn't, it's never going to be. It's never going to be. So if you keep focusing on, this never going to turn into a marriage. This is never going to be what I want. This is never, it sure isn't. It sure isn't. It sure isn't. Because you're not focused on making it to what you want it to be. You focused on making it to what you don't want it to be. That's why it's going to be that. It's going to be whatever you're going to make it to be. It's going to be whatever you make it to be. So if you all caught up in your head, oh, but he ain't got this, and he ain't got that, and we ain't got this, and we ain't got that, and we gonna end up, and we gonna be, and we never gonna be. It sure is. You gonna get exactly what you want. What it's never gonna be, what it ain't gonna be. Yup. It's gonna be all that. It's gonna be all that. Yeah, because you done idolize marriage. See, you're not focused on the things that's gonna make the marriage. Who I have to become, who I have to develop myself into becoming. See, who am I becoming? So if you're not asking yourself who you becoming, then that means you're not growing. You see? See, a wife is not just a title. A husband is not just a title. It's a position. It's a state of being. Let me say that again. Shout out to my man Club in the building. Shout out to everyone that's coming through. Make sure y'all hit the like button on the way in. Shout out to everyone. Double tap y'all screens if y'all are here through the vertical feed. Shout out to Self University. Salute, my brother. How you doing, Terry? Absolutely, L'Oreal. You manifest your own demises. Shout out to y'all, man. If y'all enjoying the show, hit the like button, share the show. The donation links are going across the screen. The super chat is open as well. Support the show, y'all. Support the show. It's very much appreciated. You see? It's going to be whatever you want it to be. Y'all don't understand this. Because you've idolized marriage. Idolized marriage. You think marriage is a transaction. You think once you get a husband, that the things that your husband do for you is because he owe that to you. No. Shout out to my comrade in the building. Salute to my brother, the Book of Ronan, man. Salute. You think your husband owe you something. You think your wife owe you something. No. This is the position you signed up for. This is what happened when you decided to take this covenant. When you decide to enter this new way of living, it's a position that you hold. See, a husband and a wife, again, is not just a title. But I hear a lot of y'all, that's what y'all say. Oh, a husband is just a title. A wife is just a title. No, it's not. It's a position. It's a position. That's why y'all must be dutiful to one another. It's the husband's duty. It's the wife's duty, because duties come with what? Positions. Positions. You know, like at a business, like at a job, it's a position. It's an office. You hold a position in the office. And with that position, there's duties, responsibilities. And with responsibilities comes what? Accountability. It's not just something we call ourselves. No, it's a position. That's why God positioned the husband to be the leader. That's his position as the husband. He's the captain. It's your position as the wife, as the co-captain or the co-pilot. That's your position. That's not a label. That's your position. And there's duties that come with positions. There's responsibilities that come with position. And you are held accountable because of your position. See, you don't understand this, but you understand your position at work. But you don't understand your position as a wife. You don't understand your position as a husband. It's a position. Like you the CEO at your job, nigga. Like you the boss at your job. Both, man. It's a position. And guess who we are held accountable by? God. God's going to hold us accountable because we made this covenant to him. Ooh, I'm going to say that again. God is going to hold us accountable because we made the covenant to him. We did it in front of him. See, this stuff is deep. It's not as simple as people come on the internet and talk about it. You see, that's why God don't like divorce. Because if you did it his way, there won't be no divorce. If you didn't idolize the institution of marriage, there will be no divorce. See, if you understood what makes a marriage, there'll be no divorce. And you stay within those guidelines, there'll be no divorce. See, what we like to do as humans is we like to go before God and ask God for what we want. And then God gives us what we want. And then we turn around and corrupt what God gave us. Yeah. A lot of y'all be praying for a wife, praying for a husband. And then you corrupt what you prayed for. You corrupt it. See, marriage is not null and void. It's just been corrupted, just like everything else. Just like everything else have been corrupted, so has marriage. And how has it been corrupted? Through idolatry. Real Housewives. See, a lot of y'all, see, a lot of y'all want to be Real Housewives. Y'all want to be Real Housewives. You don't want to be a wife. You want to be Jackie Christie. You don't. You want to be Shawnee O'Neal. Yeah. You want to be a basketball housewife. You want to be Evelyn Lozada. You don't want to be no wife. You don't want to be no wife. You want to be Nene Leakes. You want to be a Real Housewife. That's what you want to be, right? See, this is the stuff that corrupted marriage. Watching Rashida and Kirk for 10 goddamn years on the internet displaying marriage idolatry. Jim Jones and Chrissy, marriage idolatry. You want to know what corrupted marriage? This is why you're saying marriage is nothing, because you've been watching that stuff on TV for 20 years. You've been watching marriage idolatry for 20 years of your life. Who's to say you didn't come from an idol marriage? Who's to say you're not the product of an idol marriage? And then you watched idol marriages for 20 years of your life on TV. That's what corrupted marriage. Watching Housewives. Do you know what a housewife is? Oh, no. A housewife is somebody that stays home and cleans the house. No. See, I'm gonna try to keep it clean, but I gotta keep it real. I gotta tell the truth. Shout out to Miss New York Nikki, baby. Thank you so much, Miss New York Nikki. She says, set it off, hit that cash button, man. On the right of the comment section and support the channel. Hit that super chat button. Shout out to Miss New York Nikki, baby. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. Shout out to you. You want to be a housewife. You want to be a housewife. Do you know what a housewife is? Do you know where the term housewife came from? See, a lot of you black women, yeah, I'm talking to y'all now. A lot of you black women, right? Y'all like to get on the internet and talk about the white woman and how y'all never trying to be the white woman. The first housewife was the white woman. What you talking about? Housewife came from the white woman. And guess what housewives used to do? See, we going to take it back because, see, y'all don't know y'all history. See, you want to be a housewife. Do you know the housewives? Those were the white women that was sleeping with the slaves in the goddamn barn. Let me say that again for all you pro-blacks and black first black women on the internet that hate white women, but you want to be like them because you identify like them. The housewife used to sleep with the slaves, the white housewife. That's why they were called housewives. That's why if you go to the corn sites and you type in housewife, you see wives sneaking men through the back door, having sex with them while their husband is in the goddamn kitchen. That's housewife. That's housewife. Do you know that? The Real Housewives of Atlanta. The Real Housewives of Los Angeles. The Real Housewives of New York. You want to be a housewife. What them Real Housewives was doing? Cheating. Huh? What was Shawnee O'Neal doing? Laying up with a young nigga, Keon Henderson. Taking her husband's money, giving it to a younger man because he's piping her down. Housewife. You want to be a housewife? You still watching that shit and wondering why ain't no man trying to keep you? Because your mind is polluted. Your mind is polluted. But you want him to be into the Bible and in church. While you watching Housewives, you come home from church and watch Pop the Balloon and Housewives. And wondering why you ain't going past being somebody's little girlfriend. Because you've been watching Jim Jones and Chrissy. Where's Chrissy is? A girlfriend. What's Rashida? A girlfriend. A housewife. Huh? Mary J. Blige. Side chick. Side chick. Talk to me. Talk to me. All the women y'all look up to, y'all don't even look up to married women. Y'all look up to housewives. Housewives are marriage idolaters. That's what a housewife is. A marriage idolater who cheats on her husband so she can get her needs met, so she can feel wanted. Yeah. A housewife. Keep talking that shit y'all be talking. Don't even know what you're talking about. And wondering why the real men are saying, nope. I'm going to give her a shot. Nope. Because y'all always show and prove that y'all not wife material. Not wife material. I'm talking about the real men. I'm not talking about these bozos that y'all want to be real men. Let me specify this. Because see, there's a group of real men, right? Who's ready to be husbands, right? And then there's the bozos who a lot of these marriage idolater females want to be husbands. See, it's a difference. See, the reason why a lot of y'all women are not married is because you want to marry the nigga that don't want to be married. You want the man to be a husband that don't want to be a husband. That's who you want to marry you. See, the men who want to be husbands, you don't want to marry. See? You don't want to marry those men because you are a marriage idolater. You're not a wife. See, you want to play marriage. You want to play marriage. That's why you want the nigga who you want to be your husband. You see how this works? See, it ain't the point that you not married because ain't no men out here that want to be married. No, it's the man that you want to be your husband. He don't even want to be a husband. And you mad because he don't want to be a husband for you. So you sitting around waiting for the day God comes into his heart and changes him and he hear from the Lord. This is the shit that be y'all be spewing out your mouth. The fantasy land that go on in y'all head. You want this bozo to finally realize his purpose in life and that he come from God and that his responsibility is to be a husband and to take care of a family. This is the shit that y'all be saying on the internet about dudes. And y'all talking about a certain group of dudes. And none of them group of dudes are pursuing marriage. They are pursuing coochie. That's what they're pursuing. They're pursuing your coochie wop. That's why you're going to forever be somebody's girlfriend. Because you still playing. See, you don't want to get what you need in life. You want to get what you want. A transaction. See, look how y'all contradict yourself. Y'all turn around and say, all women need security. So if you need security, why you oppose it? Why do you oppose the men who can give you security? If you need security, no, you don't want security. See, you don't want security because with security comes what? Rules. See why they want the bozo? See, they want the bozo to dress up and play God. They want the bozo to dress up and play God. God bless you, brother. God bless you. Play church. They want that bozo playing church with them because they still playing. Marriage idolatry. And then a few years down the line, I don't feel like myself no more. Oh, you tired of lying and playing, huh? I don't feel like I just feel like I lost myself in this marriage. What marriage? Oh, you talking about that? You talking about the marriage, that character you laid next to? Oh, you tired of playing dress up. You tired of playing Halloween. Now you so confused. Now you didn't see all his flaws. No. You're embarrassed because you realize that trying to make Bozo the clown into being a real dude, you realize what that got you. It left you destitute. See, ladies, keep running around here in this world just trying to get what you want. And you ain't gonna never have what you need. And when you don't have the things that you need, that's what make you destitute. That's what make you destitute. And a lot of y'all are running around here spiritually impoverished because you've idolized marriage. Because you constantly say, you don't need a husband. You don't need a husband. So you need a boyfriend. Oh, you don't need that either. You don't know what you need. I don't need no wife. I don't need no wife. Maybe you don't right now. Maybe you don't. Because if you're going to treat your marriage like a transaction, you don't need a wife. You don't. If you're going to treat your wife like a human fleshlight, then you don't need a wife. Let me say this. And this going to make a lot of men feel uneasy, even a lot of married men. But I'm going to go ahead and say it. Your wife should not be your porn star. No. 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 Because if you still operating out of lust, and see, we're going to talk about this on the next show. We're going to talk about this on the next show. No, your wife is not supposed to be your personal porn star. Your wife is supposed to be your wife. Because you can defile, the marriage bed can be defiled. It can. So your wife is not supposed to be your personal porn star. You ain't supposed to look at your wife like that. That shows that what? You still into pornography. If she's your personal porn star, you still watching porn and you married? Huh? Or, wait a minute, do you and your wife watch porn together? Marriage idolatry. It doesn't say that we supposed to lust after our wives. They say we're not supposed to lust after no woman. That's biblical. It says that first we lust with our eyes. So we're not supposed to lust with our eyes. That even means with our wife. But see, we don't want to talk about this though. But this is why men get tired of having sex with their wives in marriages. You see why he tired of having sex with you? Because he only lusts you. And the flesh is what? Never satisfied. This is why you're not supposed to lust after your wife. Because guess what? That lust gonna go another direction. Because once you get tired of having the same type of sex, You hear this from men now. Let's talk. See, now we on the men. Let's talk, fellas. What is one of the main things you hear men complain about in marriages? She don't cook no more. The sex is boring. That's one of the main. I've heard that since I was a young boy. I've heard married men say the sex with their wives are boring. The sex is boring. Why? Why is it boring? Why you want something new? It's supposed to be till death do. So how you want something new, brother? How you want something new? It's until death do. Ain't nothing new. You don't get nothing new. It's until death do. Through good and bad. This is what you signed up for. You took an oath to this in front of God. But this is the real reason why men get tired of having sex with their wives. It's that lust demon. It's that lust demon. It's that lust demon. See, men don't want to talk. Men don't want to talk about this. Men still want to have the conversation that teenage boys should be having. They don't want to talk about this because having these types of conversations makes certain men, oh, I'm telling my business. I ain't telling my business. How you feel like you telling your business? You a man. You ashamed of that? You ashamed? So who do you talk to about it? If you don't talk to other brothers, who you talk to about it? Because I know you ain't going to tell your wife. So who you talk to about it? See, men nowadays, a lot of men, man, we just too superficial, man. Too superficial. Shout out to the OG in the building. Salute, Elisino. He says, I admit, I made that mistake. Lust had me tripping. Come on, man. Shout out to my comrade in the building. Salute to my brother Po Boy Films. Salute, family. T Church says he need new coochie to slay. Come on, man. That's that lust demon. This is why you're not supposed to lust after your wife, because eventually you're going to get that desire going to burn out for her. And either you're going to want to cheat or you're going to want to bring somebody into the bedroom. See, if you look at your wife as your personal porn star, then you are part of an idol marriage. You are in an idol marriage. Your wife is your wife. You see? But see, a lot of men, we don't want to talk about this. But we just want to keep talking about the YNs and the YNs and the YNs are doing this and the YNs are doing that. Forgetting that y'all are the forefathers. We're the forefathers to the YNs. We're the forefathers to the YNs. All this stuff that the YNs are doing, they was watching generations before them do it. They're just doing it in their own updated way. That's all. We're the forefathers to this stuff. Because before they was called YNs, guess what they were called? Goons. Before they was called YNs and steppers, they were called goons. The goons. The goony goo-goos. The shooters. Before they were demons, they was goons. The goblins. Let's stop acting like this stuff is new. We just don't understand context. So we don't see how it developed into what it is now. That's just like this conversation. That's just like this conversation. Let's get into this video. Check this out, y'all. Y'all hit the like button. Right. Hooligans, thugs. Right. Right. Those are the predecessors of the YNs and the demons and the steppers. Thank you, Sin. Absolutely. Let's get to this video, y'all. Check this out. Fair use, YouTube. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button, y'all. Support the show. Check this out. Listen to this.
More than 15 years.
Congratulations.
I have been in a side relationship that my husband recently found out about. How can I convince my husband to let me keep the side dude?
Well, first of all,
now y'all heard this. Now, see, listen. This is why I tell y'all to be careful with listening to certain people on the internet. Especially people, right? Especially these people who be sitting on these couches. Because a lot of this stuff is entertainment. This woman just got up there and asked. And first she said she's been married for 15 years. 15 years. And she's had a side dude and been in a side relationship for the entire 15 years. And her husband just caught her. Just caught her. And she wants advice on how she can convince her husband to keep the side dude. This is why y'all need to get off the internet if y'all talking about marriage. I'm talking to the women. Get off the internet listening to this stuff. Now, she asked Kitty, the girl Kitty, right? Now, if y'all followed tonight's conversation, y'all know that the girl Kitty already got exposed for cheating on her husband. She was running around cheating on her husband, and she got exposed. And see, what I could respect about Kitty is that she took her lick. She took her lick. Because it came out about her. She took her lick. She didn't make no excuses. She told the truth. And now she's advising women not to be the way she was. Because see, a lot of women, like this woman y'all just saw, they come to tonight's conversation to get advice from Kitty because they know what she was doing to her husband. See, Kitty was walking all over her husband and walking around like she was a baddie, thinking it was cool to humiliate men, to emasculate men, to cheat on men and disrespect them. She thought it was cool till she got exposed. And then she realized, due to the shame and the embarrassment that came behind that, now she's advising women to do better. Third says, believe it or not, it's a lot of modern day marriages that have the same type of setup. Sin says, if the roles were reversed, she'd end up having a panic crash out. Let's get back to the video. Now check out what Kitty gonna tell her. Check this out.
First of all, he shouldn't.
You need to change that convince word to manipulate.
Ooh.
We're not gonna play those games right now. You took a vow. You took vows. You stood before God or whatever it is you believe in and said that you were going to love this man. It's sickness and through health, for rich and for poor. You said that you committed whenever you took that vow. You committed to be there even in the hard times, even in the times where you were not fully emotionally fulfilled. You still took on that position to say that I'm going to have those conversations. I'm going to communicate. I'm not going to breach the trust in this marriage. You lack marital integrity. And if you lack marital integrity, you lack integrity as a person as well.
If you lack marital integrity, you lack integrity as a person. Listen to what she said. She said, if you lack marital integrity, you lack integrity, period. You lack integrity overall. This is why the first episode was Marriage Reveals Your Wounds. This is why episode one of my lovely lady mods, can you please drop the link to episode one of this series? This is why episode one was called Marriage Reveals Your Wounds. If you lack marital integrity, you lack integrity as a person, period. You lack integrity. Because marriage don't make you. Marriage exposes you. Marriage don't make you. Marriage exposes you. It exposes you. Let's get back to the video.
So my next point to make is the audacity must be on sale right now for you to be able to say, how can I convince my husband, a man at that, convince my husband to let me still have a side relationship as if I did not betray this man, as if I did not hurt this man, as if I did not dishonor this man, as if I did not disrespect this man, and you want to ask for something? You want to ask for what it seems like more of a favor because it's only going to work in your favor. It's nothing that is going to work for him. I don't like when we play these games like this. You entered into what you two believe was a monogamous agreement, and you made it a polyamorous thing.
Ooh.
You did.
Ooh.
Let me tell you something else that you did. Let's talk about the lack of responsibility. I'm gonna tell you one more thing because I'm sure some other panelists have something to say. This is the problem that I have. Whenever you open up your marriage to something that somebody else did not consent to, if your side piece has depression or anxiety, anything like that, there's a spiritual exchange that takes place when you go sleep with somebody else that you now have invited into your home. So part of the reason why your marriage is not happy is because you were lusting over the fence to begin with.
Ooh.
You invited that into your marriage. You corrupted your home. The best thing for you to do, because he does have the right to leave you. The best thing that you could do, the responsible thing you can do, is either end that relationship on the side or leave that man alone and let somebody else find him.
Clap it up, clap it.
Perfect example of marriage idolatry. She was married to a man and was cheating on his man, committing adultery for just as long as they've been married. And then she's going to come on the show and try to figure out another manipulative tactic or how she can manipulate her husband to keep her side dude. See, she doesn't understand what makes a marriage. See, she doesn't understand that wives are commanded, just like I said, husbands are commanded to love their wives. The Bible calls husbands to be sacrificial, servant-hearted love. This is what we're supposed to do as husbands. But see, the women don't want to talk about what they are commanded. You don't have a choice. And I didn't command you to do it. Man did not command you to do this. God did. So stop talking about the patriarchy and how men are controlling. Shut up. Shut up. Because if that's what you're saying, you're contradicting yourself. You're an hypocrite. Don't ask for a man to jeopardize his life for somebody who want to decide whether they're going to respect and support him. See, it don't work like that. Men are commanded to die for y'all. So you are commanded by God to respect and support us. Ephesians 5:33, let the wife see that she respects her husband. Respect. I'm supposed to love you. You're supposed to respect me and support me. That's what you're commanded by God to do. It's not a choice. It's not a decision that's made by you. It's a command. It's a command. Yeah, it's a command. Right? A command. Wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands as you do to the Lord. Ephesians 5:22. Biblical submission. Listen up to everybody who want to talk about the patriarchy, but still want a husband, right? Biblical submission, not worldly submission, not oppression, not female objectivity, treating y'all like objects. No, biblical submission is not abuse, inferiority, or control. It is voluntary honor and cooperation with a loving, godly relationship. It's not control. It's something you signed up, voluntary. You signed up for. I'm going to do this because this is what I signed up to do. Not because he got a good job. Not because he could buy you what you want. See? This is what makes a marriage. See? Husbands and wives must serve one another. This is why I'm supposed to sacrifice myself for you, and you're supposed to respect and honor me. See? We're service to each other. We're of service to each other. That's not a transaction. Of service to one another. Because sometimes things are never going to be even. I have to sacrifice my life for you. Nothing can compare to that. Let me say that again. We're not talking about a transaction. This is service. I'm supposed to die for you. What could you exchange for that? If marriage is a transaction, what can you exchange for me dying for you? I'm listening. What is the equal value to me losing my life for you? What could you give me in exchange of me dying for you? See why marriage isn't a transaction? What could you trade for my life? I'm listening. But you keep saying marriage is a transaction. No. 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 We must serve one another. Because marriage is not centered on what? Selfishness. See, this is why they want to keep making you believe, right? This is why they want to keep making you believe that marriage is transactional. This is why. Because the devil don't want us to serve one another. Because the devil's job, and his job has always was to corrupt God's plan, distort God's plan. So how does he do that? By creating confusion. By making you think marriage is a transaction. Astro says birth, childbirth. He says childbirth. So childbirth, you're saying, is childbirth an equal exchange for my life? No, it isn't. And you know why I'm going to say it isn't, Astral? Because she can go and have another child after I'm dead. You see? She could go have kids after I'm dead. If she still got enough time to, she could still go have more children. Me dying for her and her having my child does not equate. It doesn't. See, marriage has nothing to do with children. Marriage is between the husband and the wife. The covenant is between them two. It's not between you, her, and the children. No. The covenant is between you and her. There's nothing she can exchange. This is why in the Bible it says we have to love our wives the way Jesus loved the church. He died for the church. You can't get more sacrificial than that. You can't. and Astro, let's keep it on a lighter note real quick, bro. These women out here ain't having kids for us. They having kids for themselves. They're not out here having kids for us. That's back in the day. These women out here is not having children for us. They're having children for themselves. So childbirth is not even sacrificial. Because these women ain't having children for us. That's why they having children by men they don't love. Because they not having children for the man and for family purposes. They're having children for self-aggrandizement. That's why they having them. Look at my baby. Look what I pushed out. That's what it's for. That's what it's about. You see? Sin says, what's your take on unconditional love, DS1? It has changed over time, Sin. I believe that unconditional love can only be given by God. Unconditional love can only be given by God. Everybody will always love you under certain conditions. No one else will love you unconditionally but God. Third says, a lifetime of dutifulness, support, and honoring our vows is the only thing I can think of. What's up, William? Peace, fam. Marriage is not centered on selfishness. What you could do for me, what you could give me, what we can accumulate, what we can afford, what we could buy. See, all of that is centered around selfishness and greed. This is why a lot of marriages are subtly falling apart. This is why a lot of marriages dissolved during COVID. During a pandemic, this is why a lot of marriages and relationships dissolved, because a lot of them were centered on selfishness, what you could do for me. And then once the money dried up, people had to stay at home, people had to live on savings and all of that. That's when a lot of relationships dissolved, because now he can't give you what you want. Now she ain't in the mood like she used to, brother. She ain't in the mood. This is why the marriages dried up during COVID, because these were married idolaters. These are people who were idolaters of marriage. That's why they dissolved, because it wasn't based on the word of God. The foundation of it wasn't the word of God. The foundation was built on what we can do for each other in a material way. See? That's what it was about. That's what it was about. It was centered around selfishness. Selfishness. I cook, you pay the bills. I pay the bills, you give me sex. See how quick that can get old? So imagine the people who have been in these types of marriages for 40 years. Idolizing marriage. Because it's not based on the word. Marriage is not centered on selfishness. In humility, value others above yourselves. Philippians 2:3. In humility, you must value others above yourself. So guess what, fellas? You know what that means? If she ain't in the mood, you can't take it personal because it might not have nothing to do with you. Humble yourself. It might not have nothing to do with you. And value others over yourself. That means think about your wife. Think about how she may feel. See how she feeling before you just jump to the conclusion of something else. Humility. This is why God commands us to love our wives with humility and with patience. So before you jump to the conclusion, oh, she just don't want to have sex tonight. She just don't want to please her husband tonight. Be considerate. Humility. And see what's wrong with her. And yeah, take that L for the night, fellas. That's what you got to do. Because you got to value your wife over you wanting to have sex with her. Because if you don't value her past sex, past the bedroom, she's not your wife. She's not your wife. See? Submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. Ephesians 5:21. Submit to one another out of the reverence for Christ. See? So you be patient with her. You be considerate to her and with her because of your reverence to God, to Christ. Because this is what Christ commanded us to do as men, as husbands. So out of respect and reverence and honor to Christ, I have to treat her this way. I have to view her this way. I can't just flip into negativity. Because then I'm not dealing with humility. I'm not dealing with patience. See? See, a lot of y'all men who are in marriages think that your wife owe you coochie. This is why a lot of women are unfulfilled in marriages sexually, because they look at sex as a task. Ooh, let me say that. A lot of y'all wives, listen to me. A lot of y'all wives, you know why they really don't enjoy it, and a lot of them be faking? Because you've made sex a task like cooking for your wife. You've made sex a task. You've put sex on a schedule, nigga. That's what you did. Yeah. 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 You don't want to talk about that, do you? You wonder why you got to keep spit starting? Huh? You wonder why you got to keep spit starting? Tyrell V, salute, homie. Huh? Wondering why you got to keep spit starting? Because you've made sex a task. You made sex a task. It ain't a vibe no more. It's a task. It's on a schedule. It's on a schedule. You know, like how you used to schedule your jack off sessions. See, yeah. We raw over here. Yeah, just like you schedule to throw that booty talk 35 on. Yeah, just like how you planned that in your mind and you put that on a schedule. You got sex on a schedule with your wife. That's why she ain't satisfied. That's why ain't nothing going on around there down there. That's why. You done made your wife feel mandated to have sex with you like she got to stay at work overtime. Because you pay all the bills and buy all the food. Goofy. You know who else do that? Tricks. Women that ain't even married got niggas buying all their food and paying all their bills. Shut up. You're not a husband because you're doing that, sir. It's women that get that done by men who are not even married. It's women out here who are getting that done for them by married men, sir. Stop trying to flex. That's not a flex, homie. You only doing what you're supposed to do. Stop talking like you doing something special. Cause see, listen, let me tell you brothers something too. Let me let y'all brothers know something, because y'all know I'ma always tell the bros. I'ma always keep the bros up on game. You married men, stop getting on here flexing about what you do for your wife. Because you know what that is? Let me tell you what that is. That's a dog whistle for hoes. See, I know the game. Stop doing it. You're dog whistling for hoes. And then when the hoes start coming around you and the hoes get to flocking, then your wife get to asking you questions. Stop blowing the dog whistle for hoes. See, because hoes, like Meg the Stallion, they idolize marriage. Stop blowing the hoe whistle. That's what you're doing. Stop it. Yeah, because my wife don't worry about nothing. You know, my wife get a bag every couple of months. Stop it, bruh. That's a dog whistle for hoes. Because them hoes gonna see what that bread really be about. And they gonna get right in them DMs and get to sending pictures. See, I warn y'all married brothers about this shit. Because I know what it is. Stop doing it. Because see, on one hand, you throw marriage in brothers' faces Like brothers who ain't married can't talk about marriage, but then you're blowing the dog whistle for hoes by flexing what you do for your wife. See, stop playing. Stop playing. Because you're going to get yourself jammed up. Stop playing out here. See, I know what you niggas be doing. I warned you niggas before. I warned y'all before here. Stop. Because I know a couple of brothers that had to run off this YouTube shit because they was about to end up in divorce court, blowing that hoe whistle on the internet. Stop doing that. Because all that's doing is showing that you idolize your marriage. You flaunting about being a provider. You flaunting, you flexing. That ain't nothing you supposed to stop. Flexing is for hoes. What you flexing for hoes for when you married? Who you trying to impress? Why you trying to impress anyone? You supposed to be living a straight and narrow life. So you ain't supposed to be worried about what's going on your left and to your right, because you supposed to be looking straight ahead. Stop doing this. Stop it. Because that's another reason why men who are not married don't take marriage serious either. Because we see what you niggas do. You married niggas. We see what y'all get on here and do. We see what y'all get on here and do. Y'all get on here and y'all get to be an extra. And we know what that is. You trying to impress another female. Because men know men. We know what that means. We know what you trying to do. Stop doing that. Because then that make other dudes think this is okay. And it's not. It's not. It's going to make dudes say, yeah, I'm going to stay single, man. Look what the married niggas doing. Man, the married niggas get on here and talk like us. Because a lot of them do. A lot of them do. I don't want to hang out with married men. You know why? Because I'm not married. I respect the sanctity. I respect marriage. You see that? What you want to be like us for, bro? Stay over there where it's plentiful, where it's fruitful at. You come out here with us, you assed out, bro. Straight up. Since that side note, people need to be careful about they saw in private or public convos online before it ends up being used as social media content. Exactly. Exactly my point, Sin. Facts. Exactly, Sin. I've seen women on social media brag about the fact that they are messing with married men. Absolutely. And the reason why you see that, Sin, is because these married men be out here putting themselves out there, blowing that whistle. Blowing that whistle. Yeah, because I just took my wife to such and such, and me and my wife just came back from such and such. Why they need to know that, bro? Why you on the internet talking about that? Oh, you trying to, that's bait. See, men, we know. Real men know. That's bait. That's hoe bait. That's hoe bait. That's you fishing. You throwing bait out there, nigga. Stop doing that. And you married. You throwing bait out there. Yeah, because me and my wife just came back from such and such. And when we was out there, I bought her this and bought her that. And yeah, and my wife got me this. And yeah, we was happy and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Bro, that's hoe bait. That's hoe bait. Stop, bro. I understand why some of my married friends separated from their single friends, and I'm not even mad at them for it. Exactly. Exactly, bro. Terry says, count yourself blessed when you find an ordained wife or husband. Absolutely, Terry. Shout out to my brother Ebo Sosa in the building. Salute my brother. He says, this needs to be a panel discussion, brother. Hey, Ebo, you know what? You know why I wouldn't make it a panel discussion? Because it's going to deviate off of what we're talking about. And it's going to turn into, well, I'm married, you're not married, so that's what it's going to turn into. See, this is why I like to have these type of conversations, Ebo, because I like to spark these conversations. See, when I spark these types of conversations, I be hoping other men are going to take the conversation and go further with it. See, I'm not the type that's going to feel some type of way if you take my stream and review it and do all that. I'm not afraid of critique. I be wanting brothers to do it. That's why I'm the one who creates these conversations. It's just a lot of times it's taken to other platforms and then it's corrupted and nigger rigged and turned into something else. But a lot of these conversations, I start them off because I be hoping brothers is going to carry it and keep going with it. Club says, take your W, aka your marriage, and don't rub it in. Right. Or rub it in by being the example. Don't rub it in by talking. Rub it in by being the example. Like, show us how it's supposed to look. Don't talk. Because that's flexing. Just talking, that's flexing. We don't even know if any of that stuff is true. Show us. You're going to rub it in, show us. Know what I'm saying, Club? Ain't nothing wrong with a man being proud of his wife. Ain't nothing wrong with a man being proud of him, of his marriage. But do it in a way where it makes a positive effect on people. A lot of y'all walking around here wearing y'all marriage like it's a badge. Y'all walking around here wearing it like it's a special designer shirt. Look at me. That's marriage idolatry. That's marriage idolatry. That goes back to what I was talking about in the beginning of the show. Marriage must be your status symbol. You using marriage as a status. You using marriage to get into certain doors, to be able to operate on certain levels. You didn't get married because you took a covenant in front of God. You did this for business purposes. So what happens when your investment, your wife, is no longer a good investment? Huh? What happens? Since you want to look at marriage as a business. Marriage is a business. In the world, it is. That's why it's called an institution. Because it generates what? Revenue. You know, like a court. That's why courts are connected to what? Marriage. Business. Where in the Bible do it say marriage is a business? Where it say that at? Verbatim. Don't tell me what you interpreted it as. Tell me where it say in the Bible that marriage is a business. A covenant is not a business. A covenant is not a contract. A covenant has nothing to do with the world, this fleshly world. A covenant is the spirit world. But you keep saying marriage is a business. So is that why you treat your wife like a prostitute and you a trick? Businessman? Because you know a lot of businessmen like prostitutes. And a lot of married men too. Yeah. Go ask one of them high paid escorts. Ma'am, what demographic do you get the most of your money? They're gonna tell you married men. The second demographic is corporate men. You know why? Because a lot of corporate men are usually married. Oh my God. You see how it's all connected? That's why you think your marriage is a transaction. Yeah. Yeah. So shout out to y'all, man. We're going to stop it right here because I'll keep going. I'll keep going. So make sure y'all are back here at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to say, give me to about 3:15 because it's almost 2 o'clock. But make sure y'all get back here, man, because we're going to continue with this series, episode 3. Make sure y'all get back here, y'all. We're going to talk about this. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about this because these are the times where we should have these hard conversations. See, playtime is over. I've been telling y'all this. I've been telling y'all this since 2024. Playtime's over. Playing around with people, playing around with life, and them days over. You better play for keeps now. Either you're playing for keeps or don't play at all. All right, so make sure y'all get back here right here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. If y'all enjoyed today's show, man, support the show. Hit the PayPal or the Venmo, man. At Sheep Stay Sleep TV on PayPal and Venmo. At Sheep Stay Sleep TV on PayPal or Venmo. Support the show, y'all. Support the show. Like I said, we will be right back here. Give me to about 3:15, y'all. About 3:15. Shout out to my brother Ebo for doubling up, man. Ebo says, I hate when people say marriage is a business. Or what's the ROI on marriage? It feels cold and mechanical, almost dehumanizing. Exactly. Shout out to my brother Ebo for doubling up on a super chat. Shout out to Miss New York Nikki for hitting the super chat as well. Shout out to everyone for coming through this afternoon. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all get back here. Get back here, y'all, in about an hour and 15 minutes. Get back here in about an hour and 15 minutes because we will be back with episode 3 of the Marriage Idolatry series, man. I appreciate everyone for coming through. Shout out to my lovely lady mods. Shout out to my top lovely lady mods for coming through and holding it down. But make sure y'all get back here, man. DS1 Ross, Sheep Stay Sleep TV, and we'll be back. Peace.